Maybe you've seen this on the internet. The last one I saw was a couple of years ago. But it's some message, and it might be a Twitter box or something. It looks very official, usually coming from NASA or some respected source. And it says something along the lines of, next Tuesday at 9:37 in the morning, due to the alignment of planets, and in this case it was Jupiter and Pluto, if you jump in the air at that exact moment, their gravity will pull and you will float momentarily. Wow! Wouldn't that be great? I mean, wouldn't you just love to fly, even for a moment, just love to fly like that? I think that would be cool. Ain't going to happen, folks. If you remember anything from physics, it's just not going to happen. I mean, Pluto, really? Jupiter's big, but it's too far away. The sun's a lot closer. It's not going to happen. But they do have a principle that's important. If you have these two poles of gravity, there is a place between them in which the pull will be balanced, and you will experience no gravity. Now, I'm not going to talk about physical gravity. I want to talk about financial gravity. Because we have two different things that pull at us that we need to understand better. The first issue is not enough gravity. Maybe you know people like this. They confuse spending money with managing money. And they may say something like, how can I be overdrawn at the bank? I have checks left. This is especially hard for people who don't have a regular paycheck. They may work in sales, and one month they get a little bit. The next month they get a whole lot. Wow. Next month, pretty good. Maybe the next month, not so much. Wow, look what I've got. Shiny! It's gone. They don't know where it went. They didn't know where it was going. All they know is what was there is now gone. We live in a culture that promotes this. Capitalism is designed to get you to spend money. In which case you have a job and you earn money. It works. But we must make sure we understand this. Look at Google. They're a $500 billion company. They have no product other than you. Big Larson reminds me that if you're not paying for something in this electronic world, then you are the product. Think about this. You type something into the Google search engine, and the next thing you'll see ads for it on Facebook. Google went through a study to find the best color to use on their screen. Not which color, which shade. They tested various shades of blue, and they found that statistically significant, this color was better than that color. That's how serious they are about this. When I first went into Walmart, and even when I do it today, I'll go in and I'll see something and say, wow, I didn't know I needed that, but I need that. And I need that. My dad jokes they've got a $100 minimum because you walk in, you're expecting to get one or two things, but you have to hit that $100 minimum, it seems. We have needs and we meet those needs. But before you know it, our wants become easy to fulfill. And if we're not too careful, our wants become our perceived needs. When our kids were young, we called it the I wants it's. It's hard sometimes to say, no, you can't have it. An addict once told me, "I don't crave alcohol. I enjoy alcohol." My friends, we can be addicted and not realize it. Shopping can be fun. Buying stuff, for me, can be fun. I'm sure you heard of the pastor who told his congregation he needs a brand new $76 million jet. Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll pass the hat here. But we've grown into this. We get caught up in it. And before we know it, we have too much stuff. Stuff that we bought thinking we needed, but we don't really. I think the modern credit card industry was started when Sears discovered that they were making more money on the interest on the charge accounts than on the actual sale of the product. They could give it to you at cost if you would put it on the card. We're not going to hell in a handbasket. We're going to hell in a shopping cart. But this too much stuff leads us to the second problem. Too much gravity. Things that weigh us down. We build up so much credit card debt, we can't pay it off. Or it keeps us from doing what we'd like to be doing, what we should be doing. Now, I know some Christians who say you shouldn't have any debt. That's a small percentage who will say that. Some will say, well, the only debt you should have is a house payment. I certainly agree. I think it's fine to have a house payment with an appropriate sized house. You don't need this $500 million home necessarily. Student loans are a debt that are part of our portfolio sometimes, and again, getting an education to have earning power is good and fine. Be careful about taking on too much debt. And maybe you can find a way to cut down on that need for the loan, work study and some other things. Car payments. It's hard to buy a car in cash. I think car payments are fine, as long as you're managing your money with it. The difficulty comes, and I've seen people do this, is they've had this car for 3 years and they got it in the shop for some kind of service. And the salesman comes in and he says, "Listen, for the same payment, I can put you in this brand new, shiny automobile." And you're thinking, wow, something for nothing. I make the same payments, but I have this beautiful new car. Well, that's true. But now, instead of being 2 years from no car loan, you're 5 years. Or more likely, never. You know, salesmen, and car salesmen in particular, they're always talking about monthly payments. They don't talk about the total price. They want to break it down for you in monthly payments. Because it's easier to push you. Oh, it's only a few bucks a month. I can handle that. Oh, it's only a few $1,000s. I'm not sure about that. Be careful. My daughter fussed at us. She said, when y'all got me a car, anyway, she said, "I wish you hadn't got me such a reliable car because I want a new one, but I can't get rid of this one. It runs too well." That was our plan. That was our plan. Credit card debt will eat you up. I mean, even making those monthly payments and take you years to pay that off, and that's assuming you don't charge anything else. If you are constantly paying credit card interest for non-emergencies, then you need to think about your spending program. So here's Jesus. I know, it took me a while to get here, but here we are with Jesus. This rich young man comes up to him. We'll call him Henry. Henry is an acronym for millennials. High earner, not rich yet. They want to be. They're working on it, but they're not there yet. And Henry comes to Jesus and said, what must I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus says, well, you got to keep the law. And Henry says, I've done that. Jesus does not argue with it. Jesus doesn't say, oh, no, wait a minute. No, Jesus says, okay, but you lack one thing. Give away all your possessions. Then, follow me. You've missed the point of the law. Your possessions are holding you down. They're keeping you from doing what you need to do. You know people like that who are so consumed with their possessions? You know, the stereotype image is the family that buys this beautiful, beautiful living room suite, beautiful couch, and it comes with this plastic, and they leave the plastic out because they don't want to mess it up. Really? What good is it? They're so consumed by the looks that couch brings. I had a pastor one time tell me the next time he bought a new car, he was going to go and get a hammer and put a dent in it himself. Because when he first drove it off the lot, he was so anxious that something would happen to it. He was so nervous, it gnawed at him. After he got his first ding, he was fine with it. Kids, do not try that at home. Do not try it with somebody else. You want to do it in your car, that's fine. If that's what you need to do. Do not get so consumed by possessions. Now, this is not a general rule for all Christians. John Wesley said, earn all you can, save all you can, give all you can. But fulfill your responsibilities. Henry went away grieving, for he had many possessions. He had too much stuff. It weighed him down. He could have been walking with Jesus, and he said, no, I want my stuff. At least he realized the choice he was making. Jesus says it's hard for the rich to enter the kingdom because we're worried about our stuff. We need to learn to put our trust in God, to let go. And we do that by considering our spending, our habits. What are you doing with what God has entrusted to your care? Are you managing it well? Have you ever been on a field trip, with a school field trip? There's one person, maybe more than one, who's in charge of counting. You know, line the kids up. How many kids on the bus? 1, 2, 3, 4, 29. Great, 29 kids. Get off the bus. How many kids? 29. Good. Bathroom break. How many kids? 29. We're doing good. On the bus. 29. Great. Get to school. Off the bus. How many kids? 28. 97%. That's pretty good. Really? What are you doing with all that God has entrusted to your care? Last week, I hope you did, file your income taxes. Yeah, the deadline's gone, but think about that. What kind of spending did you do last year? My challenge to you this week is to look at your spending. And if you do your finances on the computer, then it's, I use Quicken, and it's very easy for me to pull out spending. And we can look at it. And maybe that's hard, maybe you can't do that so easily. A year is a lot of stuff. But maybe pick a month. And if you haven't done that, then maybe for the next month, Track your spending. See where it all goes. Save every receipt. Document it somewhere. But know where it's going. And then ask yourself, is this reflective of me? Is this where I think God should have me spend the money? You know, the tithe is 10% that God says we give to the kingdom. But it's not just the 10%. God calls us to be good stewards of all of it. Not just 10%, not just 97%, but all of it. Joseph Heller, the author of Catch-22, once was told of a funds manager who made more in one day than Heller had made from the sale of all of his books. And Heller said, that's okay, because I have something he'll never have.